Christmas in the 1970s in America felt simpler, slower, and it was built around anticipation in ways that are hard to explain today. There was no internet shopping, no Black Friday sales starting in October, and no ordering gifts with 2-day shipping. People today often do not understand what made Christmas special when you could not just order everything online and have it arrive the next day. The Sears Wish Book arriving in the mail, a Charlie Brown, Christmas playing once a year, real trees with big colored bulbs, waiting weeks for presents to arrive, and family gatherings without anyone staring at phones. Christmas in the 1970s took effort, required planning, and it felt earned. Let us step back into that world. The Sears Wish Book was essential to Christmas in the 1970s. The catalog arrived in the mail in late October or early November, hundreds of pages thick, filled with toys, clothes, and household items. Kids grabbed it immediately and spent hours studying every page. You circled items you wanted with markers or folded down page corners. The JCPenney catalog served the same purpose. There was no internet to research toys. You relied on catalogs and the occasional TV commercial. Parents secretly noted what their kids had circled and planned their shopping accordingly. The waiting was part of the experience. Christmas felt far away in October. You counted down the weeks, then the days. The anticipation built slowly over months, not days. Shopping for Christmas meant physically going to stores. Department stores decorated their windows and interiors with elaborate displays. Shopping at malls meant crowds and long searches for parking. The smell of roasted nuts from vendors mixed with perfume from department store counters. Layaway plans helped families afford bigger items. Many families did not have credit cards or used them sparingly. Cash and checks were how most people paid. Stores were crowded, but not open 24 hours a day. Shopping took entire days. Kids visited Santa at the mall, waiting in long lines to sit on his lap. The exhaustion of Christmas shopping was accepted as part of the season. Television specials were events that families watched together. A Charlie Brown Christmas aired every year, and families watched it together. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Frosty the Snowman, and other specials aired once during the season. You watched them when they aired, or you missed them. Recording was not an option unless you had a VHS player in the late 1970s. TV Guide listed when Christmas specials would air. Christmas music played on AM radio stations. Families owned Christmas albums on records or 8-track tapes. Bing Crosby, Nat King Cole, and Andy Williams specials were annual traditions. Everyone heard the same songs. The soundtrack of Christmas was shared by everyone. Decorating homes for Christmas meant getting a real tree in most households. Families went to tree lots or cut their own. You strapped the tree to the car roof and drove it home, pine needles flying behind you. Trees were decorated with big colored bulbs, not the tiny lights that would come later. Bubble lights that percolated were popular. Tinsel was applied strand by strand. Ornaments were collected over years. Homemade ornaments from kids hung alongside store-bought ones. Not every house decorated outside. Wreaths hung on doors. Nativity scenes appeared in yards. Houses smelled like fresh pine. Before we continue with Christmas Eve and the traditions that made the holiday unforgettable, if you are enjoying this look back at what Christmas was really like and want to explore more decades and memories, consider subscribing. There are so many more stories about how Americans lived through the times that shaped us. Christmas Eve had its own traditions. Church services were central. Midnight Mass and candlelight services brought families together. Some families opened one gift on Christmas Eve. Children set out cookies and milk for Santa, and carrots for the reindeer. Trying to sleep was impossible. Parents stayed up late assembling toys after the children finally fell asleep. They wrapped last-minute gifts, arranged presents under the tree, and then collapsed, exhausted, knowing the kids would wake them early. For many, Christmas Eve felt as important as Christmas Day itself. Christmas morning started early. Kids woke up before dawn. Parents were exhausted. The rush to the tree was chaotic. Stockings often came first in many families. Oranges in the toe were a tradition from Depression-era Christmases. Small toys and candy filled the rest. Some families opened presents one at a time, in a quiet, deliberate way. Other households were pure chaos, with wrapping paper flying everywhere. Maybe someone took Polaroid photos. Breakfast was often casseroles or cinnamon rolls. Families stayed in pajamas all morning. Kids played with their new toys right away. If batteries were not included, you were out of luck because stores were closed. Family gatherings brought extended families together. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins filled the house. Big meals featured ham or turkey, with traditional sides like green bean casserole, mashed potatoes, and rolls. Pies covered every available surface. Everyone brought something. The kids' table was separate from the adults' table. Kids played with cousins. Board games and cards came out. Some families watched football on TV. Without cell phones, people had to actually interact. Conversations, arguments, and laughter filled the house. Cleanup took hours. Leftovers lasted for days. Gifts in the 1970s were simple. Toys were less expensive and less complicated. Board games, action figures, and dolls were common. Books and records made good gifts. Many gifts were handmade. Homemade cookies, crafts, and knitted items were valued. Families gave fewer presents overall. Gifts were wrapped in paper with real bows. Some families saved wrapping paper to reuse. The thought behind the gift mattered. Religious meaning was more central to Christmas in the 1970s. Nativity scenes were displayed in homes. Church was central to the holiday. School Christmas programs included religious content. Carols about Jesus were sung without controversy. The Christmas story from the Bible was read aloud. Merry Christmas was the standard greeting. The sacred and secular aspects of Christmas were mixed together. The spiritual aspect was emphasized more than it would be in later decades. What made Christmas in the 1970s different was what was absent. No smartphones or social media. No Amazon Prime. Stores were closed on Christmas Day. Photos were limited to maybe one roll of film. You had to call on the house phone, and long-distance calls were expensive. Christmas cards were sent weeks early with handwritten notes. The effort required made it meaningful. You could not buy everything instantly. It was simpler, but somehow felt bigger. Christmas in 1970s, America required effort, and it created anticipation in ways that feel foreign now. You studied the wish book for weeks, shopped in crowded stores, and watched television specials together. Families decorated real trees with big bulbs and tinsel. Those family moments happened without smartphones or social media. Religious meaning was more openly present. Gifts were simpler, and there were fewer presents overall. For those who lived through it, Christmas felt earned. The waiting made it special. The effort made it meaningful. That was Christmas, when it required patience and created memories through the anticipation itself.